So that's Find the Silence. That's how it sounds, completely mastered and good to go. What's up? So for those of you that are new here, my name is Michael Faze. I'm a music producer and I have releases on Universal Music Group. And today I wanted to make a quick video about textures and how you can make your boring sounds feel more alive and more unique and give it that character that it needs to really shine through in the track and just give it its own personality. Let's go.
Best producers in the world use texture to create character and make their music more interesting. The basic version is you grab some background noise from, say, Cymatics Free Kit, or even record your own, and layer it in with a sample, which is still cool, but Disclosure have the next level up. They have said that they use chord one-shots, such as a C minor 9, and layer it with background noise of people talking and reverse chimes for added texture. This makes it more interesting because the noise moves around in pitch with the chords instead of just being a constant static noise.
So this is the project file to Find the Silence. This is the master project file. As you can see, I did a lot of super experimental stuff by adding stuff like Chroma, Infiltrator, Eternal Return by Dada and a bunch of little automations to make the master feel the way it does. Because all of these plugins together take up so much CPU, I decided to just load in the master so you can hear how it sounds and I can break down everything without any lagging, you know? So let's take a listen to the master, hear how it sounds. I should have everything off. Oh, no, I don't. Should have everything off right now. Let's take a listen and let's break it down.
I heard a rumor. There's a place not far from here that we can be closer and our hearts can rest again. I won't sleep until we find it. No, I won't sleep until you're next to me and we find the silence.
So that's Find the Silence. That's how it sounds, completely mastered and good to go. Let me break down some of the things that I've done in the instrumental so you guys can see how everything sounds. All right, so the first plugin on this chain, Eternal Return, which is actually one of my favorite plugins at the moment. It makes the buildup feel super intense and it just keeps rising and rising. If you hear it in context, you'll see exactly why I used it the way I did. It's that little bit at the end that just goes, it's just like kind of grinding the frequencies together. That's the way I describe it. And it's such an amazing little effect that you don't really pay attention to until you hear everything all together. Because once I add Chroma, that effect gets even crazier. Let's add Chroma actually, because I ended up doing this first before doing Infiltrator, and then I just switched the positions of the plugin slots. I have it automating throughout the whole breakdown, so it's kind of like gradually going up, and then as soon as the buildup hits, it goes down, and then it starts building up way more intense towards the end, which adds a bit of layering and color to all the sounds that are in that mix. So just adding subtle texture, and I'm automating the color knob just to make things more colorful later on. I hear those textures, they weren't there before. Now, I really wanted to kind of make the breakdown and the build-up feel super atmospheric. So I ended up using Infiltrator because it does make some really cool textures on the tracks. I use this preset called Distant Sun, and it is really amazing for creating little atmospheres. So you heard the breakdown before, let's hear it with it. You hear that extra reverb and it just makes it feel like you're floating. And then as Chroma goes up, it really adds something to Chroma. As you build it up and it starts to get that feeling. With these 3 plugins, you can make some really sick buildups, and that's what I ended up doing with this master. It just gave it way more motion, made it way more intense, and it's something that I'll probably be doing in most of my melodic tracks at this point. One thing I do with my masters a lot is that I like to take control of the stereo image. If you haven't noticed by now, by all the effects and the textures and everything, I really like to mess with the stereo image. And to combat some of the issues that might occur, I end up using this plugin, Ozone 11 Imager. And what I'm doing here is I play the loudest part of the drop, I click on Learn, and once it's finished adjusting, I'll set this band all the way down to completely mono, so we can just get that part. And then the mids, I bring them down a bit more. I could keep it up, but if you notice, some parts get a little too crazy. And it's just the parts with the reverb. And I want to take control of that as much as I can. So by doing it to 30-ish, you still get it, but there's more control on there. And then with the high frequencies, I just push that guy all the way up, just to add that bit of wideness that happens. I add a little bit over here at the 3K region. I mean, I can add a little bit more, but I didn't want to push my luck there. And then the last thing I did was just add a little bit less to the dry wet, just so I can still retain some of like the normal information there. And then I turned on recover sides just to add a little bit more to the stereo image. And I clicked on prevent anti-phase because we don't want to phase out. And then the last few plugins are really simple actually. Type A, which adds high frequency in a way that's super rich and doesn't mess up the whole song. So if I just put the actual plugin by itself, it sounds like this. That's just what's being added. I can just have the high frequencies, or I can have the mids and the lows. In this case, I chose all of it. I wouldn't do this currently, but without it, it just doesn't feel like it's nice and special. Then of course at the end, I have the oversample up to about 8 or 16, which makes it sound even better to me personally. So it's always a thing that I like to do. There's this plugin RX950, which is a AD to DA converter. And it basically just makes this sound feel even brighter if I wanted a little bit more high end, but still also kind of retain the rest of the track. And a special thing that I like to do on here, because it can get a little bit crazy, I'll play it as crazy as it normally is, which is a 0 in brilliance. This is how it sounds. So what I do is I tend to bring the brilliance down, because then you can make it a bit more subtle. Let's do that right now. So I'm bringing it down. So it makes it a bit more darker. If I bring it up, even more brighter. So round 23 sounds good, and I really like that actually. But yeah, that's the master project for Find the Silence. I'm so glad it behaved, because I was very scared you guys would have to listen to all of this kind of lagging. So I'm kind of glad it behaved, but I did also turn off a lot of the oversampling. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. If there's any other videos you'd want me to make, please let me know. And comment down below which was your favorite part, and if there's anything new that you learned from this video that you could apply to your tracks. I will see you on the next video. Peace.